Hello everyone, I am Masuda, Assistant Professor, Department of PG Studies and Research in Commerce. Today, let us discuss about ethical issues in pricing. So, what is ethics? What is pricing? It's a very interesting topic. Ethics is about being fair. It's about knowing the difference between what is right and what is wrong and following the right. What is pricing? Pricing is about covering your manufacturing expense and profit margin, and it is not about capturing as much value as possible from your buyer. So, when sellers balance fairness and value, we call it as ethical pricing strategy. In an organization, the main aim will be profit maximization. But in the quest for better pricing solutions to help companies maximize their profit, it's important not to lose track of the moral duty to promote ethical pricing. Because in the modern day, in the modern marketing, consumer is the king. But if you indulge in any kind of unethical practices, ultimately the consumer is going to suffer and eventually the company will suffer as well. Let us discuss about ethical issues in pricing. The first one is price fixing. How price is fixed? Usually, it is fixed by the manufacturer. He'll take into consideration many factors here. He will see how much he has spent on manufacturing that product. To that, he will add his profit margin. That is one thing. And again, there are demand and supply, in the market, which determines the price for the commodity. But what do you mean by price fixing here? That is, here you are going to collude with your competitors to set prices at a certain level. It reduces competition and it harms the consumers. For example, all electronic retailers or retail suppliers, what they will do? They will collectively fix the price of televisions by setting a price, premium or discount. As a consequence, price fixing can lead to reduced competition. It maximizes the prices and it will lead to decreased innovation, and it is unethical. The second ethical issue is price discrimination. Price discrimination is the strategy of selling the same product at different prices to different groups of consumers, usually based on the maximum they are willing to pay. The practice also surfaces in hiding lower priced items from the customers who have a higher willingness to pay. This one is little tricky because it is socially accepted in some cases yet rejected in others. For example, healthcare. In many cases, the healthcare sector charges based on the patient's insurance coverage or ability to pay. The most crucial example we can give is movie tickets also. Movie theaters usually charge extra ticket prices relying on the day or time of the week. The next ethical issue is deceptive pricing. So, it is a pricing strategy used by retailers to deceive consumers into believing they are paying a lower price for goods than they are actually should. Deceptive pricing is the use of unfair or unethical pricing practices to lure in customers. Deceptive pricing can take many forms such as false advertising, bait and switch tactics, and hidden fees. Deceptive pricing is illegal in many jurisdictions and can result in severe penalties for businesses that engage in this type of activity. For example, misleading customers about the price of a product or service through tactics such as hidden fees, false discounts, or unclear pricing. If you indulge in any kind of deceptive pricing or advertising, we have Consumer Protection Act of 2019 where consumers for any unethical practices which are practiced by the businessmen, they can lodge a complaint there. The next one is dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing is product pricing based on various external factors including current market demand, season, supply change, and price bounding. With dynamic pricing, product prices changes continuously, sometimes in minutes also, in response to real-time supply and demand. Dynamic pricing can be controversial also, as it can be perceived as unfair or exploitative. However, dynamic pricing can also be a win-win situation for businesses and for consumers, as it can help businesses to optimize their profit and customers to find the best deals. When dynamic pricing is used in a transparent and fair way, it can be a powerful tool for businesses and consumers alike. A hotel increasing room prices during peak season or a special event or airline tickets during peak season can be a best example. Recently, we have seen during Coldplay Mumbai concert, 5-star accommodations in the Mumbai or in the vicinity were charging between 3 lakh to 5 lakh rupees for a 3-night stay. This can be taken as a best example for dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing can lead to price volatility, a reduced customer loyalty and potential backlash also. The next one is exploiting vulnerable consumers. Exploitation of vulnerable consumers refers to the unfair or deceptive business practices that take advantage of consumers who are vulnerable due to various factors. It could be low income because consumers with limited financial resources may be targeted with high interest loans, predatory financial products or expensive services. Sometimes people will exploit the vulnerable consumers based on their education, limited education. Consumers with limited education or financial literacy may be misled by complex financial products or services. Sometimes age is also a factor. Elderly consumers may be targeted with scams, high pressure sales tactics or exploitative financial products. And again, disability also. Consumers with disabilities may be targeted with exploitative products or services that take advantage of their vulnerability. Sometimes language also pose as a barrier in exploiting, like language barriers. Through language barrier also you can exploit the consumers. Consumers with limited proficiency in the dominant language of the market may be targeted with exploitative products or services. For example, offering high interest loans or credit products with unfair terms. Next one is price gouging. Price gouging occurs when a seller increases the prices of goods or services or commodities to a level much higher than it is considered reasonable or fair. Usually, this event occurs after a demand or supply shock. Common examples include price increases of basic necessities after natural disasters. Price gouging can lead to financial hardship, reduced access to essential goods or services, and decreased business trust. For example, during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, many retailers significantly increased prices for essential items like hand sanitizers, face masks, and cleaning supplies. The next one is price skimming. So, it is a strategy where the price for a product is first sold at a very high price and then it is gradually lowered. The goal here is pretty obvious. Producers want to capture each step on the demand curve. Consumers who are willing to pay more buy the product first and then a new group's purchases are triggered with each decrease in price. For example, electronic products, take for example the Apple's iPhone, for example, often utilize a price skimming strategy during the initial launch period. The next one is predatory pricing. Predatory pricing is pricing a product lower than the competition in the hopes of driving that competition out of business. Sometimes it won't even cover manufacturing expense. Predatory pricing typically takes place during a price war. The ultimate goal behind this strategy is to establish a strong market position and to drive out competitors. Predatory pricing may require a firm to sustain losses for a certain period of time and thus is typically only undertaken by large established firms capable of absorbing short-term losses. The strategy is considered successful if the firm is able to recoup its short-term losses with much higher prices in the long run. In the long term, customers suffer from high prices. For a long time, Amazon sold printed books and e-books at prices significantly lower than those offered by competitors, such as traditional brick and mortar bookstores. So this is what predatory pricing is. Thank you.